Hello, good morning, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another edition of Something for the Weekend at Lynch's. Hope you've been well. I've been on and off terrible for about a month with this cold. Got a cold, tickly cough, nasally all bunged up, it's horrible. Welcome to the UK. It's 8 degrees today, so it's warmed up a bit. Back about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, myself and Dan, can't remember who else it was, we went to Friedrichshafen in Germany to the big Handfest show. If anybody haven't been there, go, because it's as good as Dayton almost. It's a very, very big ham show. As usual, Yazo, Ike and Ken with all the big boys were there. And I'm walking through and I see this very brightly lit stand with a big sign above it called Hilberling. Well, Hilberling, never have I heard of Hilberling? German, obviously very German company. And as I walked up to it, I saw chassis of a certain radio where they had all the covers off, and I was astounded because even the chassis were chromium plated. That was about 2013, 2012, 2013. In 2012, Hilberling produced a PT-8000A, which was an extraordinarily expensive HF 6 meters, 4 meters and 2 meter base station. Well, guess what? It took me about 10 years to prize a dealership out of them. And fast forward to 2025, and here we have, as far as I'm aware, the only one on demonstration in the entire world, certainly in a ham radio shop, is not only the PT-8000A, but also the matching amplifier, the HPA-8000B, kilowatt solid state amplifier, including a kilowatt on 4 meters, 6 meters. So this is the station. You don't have to buy both at the same time, but I'm pleased to say most of my customers have. Anyway, so back to Hilberling. I looked at this, and I thought, what's this? I mean, look at the engineering. I was on their stand for most of Friedrichshafen, I think, just in awe at the quality of build. I mean, don't get me wrong, when Yazo and Icom and Ken would make HF base stations, we love them to bits because there's almost no money, no object. With Hilberling, it's not just up a scale, it's up 3 or 4 scales. I was even looking at these N-types earlier. Look at the quality of these N-types. Look at everything about it just oozes quality. I think it's best described as a Bentley or Rolls-Royce. I mean, Rolls-Royce are produced in this country, owned by a German manufacturer, of course, BMW, and they build them in small batches. Nowhere near as small a batch as Hilberling manufactures these. Icom probably used to make more IC7851s in a year than Hilberling have done in 10. So this came out in 2012. It wasn't properly released till a year or two afterwards. So we're looking at a good 12, 13-year-old design. Have they upgraded at that time? Yes, they have. Who are Hilberling? Hans Hilberling, one man, a very intelligent and advanced electronics engineer, started in the 70s, did make a few pieces of amateur radio, but his primary focus was commercial. That is his main forebear of his company, producing very complex and advanced electronics for the commercial industries. As a sort of a sideline, he produces a very limited batch run per year of the Hilberling amateur radio range, which are these 3. In fact, he's actually just brought out a transverter as well. So if you want one of these, you have to put your name down and you wait. And you wait and you wait, and you're typically waiting a year. But to be honest with you, we're used to that with Expert. You know, people waiting up to 2 years for an SP amplifier from Rome in Italy. So these really are hand-built. When we get a deposit, we raise an order with Hilberling in the factory in Germany, and then we keep the customer introduced or involved as to when it's coming and up to date. So HF, 6 meters, 2 meters, which are like, and also 4 meters. Things like mounting the display back at an angle. I don't know any other manufacturer that does this. And I'm very pleased to see he even extended it to the linear as well, exactly the same. Another interesting line, when you order a Hilberling, you can have it in 4 colours, and actually to a RAL standard colour reference. So you can order blue, They do a sort of a deep red colour, a light grey, a dark grey, and a really nice green. We've sold a green one a couple of years ago. Is it as advanced as the latest Yaesu Icon and Kenwood, or even the latest SDR? No, it isn't. But neither is a Bentley or a Rolls Royce. You invest in one of these because it's probably going to be the radio you buy that'll outlast you, literally outlast you. Service and backup and support on the rare occasion you might have a fault is second to none. We've supplied these to all parts of the world, mainly the Middle East, as you can imagine. But financing we can offer, trade-ins we can offer, and we'll take practically anything as a trade, including cars. The latest prices are on the website, please check them out. But I'm really proud to have that brand in my store as a reference point. You know, he was very critical about who he wanted to resell his products, and he chose us. And thank you very, very much for that, Hilberling & Co. I'm forever grateful for it. That's really it for me as an intro for the radio. It's going to be on demonstration. Please come down, I'll speak to my guys and sit here for hours. We've got a decent HF antenna on it, and have a tune and have a listen and ask as many questions as you like. That's it from me. Over to Tony for the rest of the video. Enjoy your week. I'm on holiday for 2 weeks, so I'll see you when I come back. All the best.
Thank you very much, Martin, for the intro, and I can't believe it myself that we've actually got one of the Hilberling transceivers here on demo in the store. And let's be honest, it's got to be the only one in the UK that's on demo at a ham store, probably in Europe, maybe even in the world, who knows. Anyway, let's cut to the chase. Let's take a look at the functions that are available on the front of this radio. I know Martin gave you a quick overview as to the history of Martin Lynch Sons and Hilberling, but I know you really want to see the radio. So I was going to go very technical on this video. Who am I kidding? Obviously not. But there is a 100-odd page manual to go through, and we've just put it on the demo today. So we're going to take a look overview at the front, and then I'm just going to cut to the chase, as I said, and hopefully get it on air. So let's take a quick look here. So starting at the top, obviously we've got this lovely paddle button. Now it's on already, so I'm not going to flick that for you. Coming across here, we have the tuner section. So here you'll see we can put the tuner on or off. We can start the tuner manually if need be, and we can also switch the TX on and off from here as well. And what you'll find with this radio, the way the ergonomics are in the UI, is everything seems to be boxed off into its own sort of department. So come across to here, we've got our 0 beat for operating CW, for RX and TX as well. We've got our mic gain here and Vox selection. We've got our processor, which we can switch on here. And also our TX power, we can instantly put it onto low if we don't want to run high power. Now you say, well, how are we going to instantly put it onto low? Now all of these are multifunction knobs. So for example, if I go onto the, let's go for the mic, and if you look on the screen here at the same time, so if I press the mic, we've now selected the Vox, which you'll see just up here to the left of the frequency, or we can switch that off. So as I said, these are all multi-function, so as we go along, I'll go through what the functions are for each of these knobs. So here we've got our receive noise blanker. So that if we select noise blanker, we can then go through here, add a little bit more noise blanker, take some away if need be. Our IF notch is here. Again, same process, we're just going to turn for that. We've got our squelch. Again, we can switch on and off with this squelch knob. And we've got our RF gain here as well, which handily also controls the AGC. So if I press this, you'll notice down here that the AGC has come on, or I can come off. So that's done there. We can do a scan as well, straight through the frequencies within the function buttons here where the AGC is. So the benefit of the AGC being fully flexible is you can actually delay when the AGC kicks in, and that's quite easily done with the knobs on the front of the radio. Okay, moving across to here, we've got all of our adjustments here when it comes to mic control, audio control and key control. Obviously we've got our mic inputs here, which is very nicely put at the front, which obviously on a lot of flagship radios you'll find it's tucked around the back. Got a headphone socket here. Now the clever thing with the headphones here is obviously you've got dual receive, and yes, kind of like the 9000 from Yaesu, the receivers are exactly the same on here. So great if you're doing diversity. You can actually split those as well on your headphones from the socket here. Got your key socket here, and your keyer speed can be adjusted by turning the knob. Okay, moving across, we've got our display. So if we go into menu, you'll see our options for the menu are along the side here, and the buttons on the front by the face can be used to change that setting. So we'll go again. So here we've got our COM ports that are available. We can see the baud rates on the COM ports. We've got CTCSS. Now you're probably wondering, okay, Tony, this is isn't this just the HF transceiver? Well, no. If you listen to Martin at the start, you'll know that this actually does VHF as well. It will cover 6 meters, it will cover 4 meters, and 2 meters as standard. Now, power-wise, 200 watts on HF as standard, and 100 watts on the on the VHF frequencies. So 6 meters, 4 meters, and 2 meters will be 100 watts output. And the good thing is you've got CTCSS now as well. That was a firmware update from when these first came out quite a few years ago. So you can work your local repeater if you really wanted to. And go back to where I said about the dual receivers. The clever thing you can do is you could run your 2 meter receiver constantly. You can be working HF and then monitor basically on the sub band your 2 meter repeater, and in a clever way it will actually dip down the audio so that you'll know that there's a call coming through on the local repeater. Just a nice little feature on there for you. Okay, so as I said, we've got the menu button here, we've got the meter button as well. So if I press the meter button, you'll see here it's now showing we've got compression there. We've got S units. If we want to change that, we can do it there. And our main meter is across here. Okay, going across, we've got our filters. So that's now engaged our filter system. Now the clever thing with this radio is the filters is obviously there's crystal filters here and there's DSP as well. And the clever bit is if the bandwidth that you want to use for the filters matches that of the crystal filter, it will take the DSP completely out of series. So you won't be using any of the digital processing, you'll be using the crystal filters. So you've got best of both worlds, basically. Best of both worlds. Okay, let's come out of that. We've got our notch filter here as well for the DSP, and we've got our noise reduction. So I can click that on or off here. It will show up on the screen that it's active. And again, as I said, that's again boxed out, so you know all of your functions for DSP are going to be within here if you want to make that selection. Okay, moving across, we've done this now. We've had the AGC and the scan, which obviously related back to the AGC switching on over here. We've got our band change buttons here, so we can go 21, 7, 24, 8, 28, 9, which is obviously your breakdown in the numerical keypad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or your actual bands. So very simple. Never seen it done that way before on the radio, but I like that. It's slightly different. Obviously our VFO knob here, which is nicely weighted. And then we're going to go across here to modes, so we can change to VHF, we can change from receive or TX mode, and again memory mode as well. Here we've got our shifts and our cuts for DSP. And again, we can either enter for direct frequency entry, change from the main or the subband, choose a channel, SSB or CW, AM or FM, and then obviously data as well. It does come with a USB port as standard, as it should do really. And I can kind of hear of you saying, well, you know, obviously that sounds quite modern, Tony, but I'm looking at that and there's no band scope or anything. No, there's not. However, it does come with a CD with some software that you can put onto your PC, and it would then give you a scope function. So you will be able to see on your PC screen everything that's coming from the radio. And also, if you're kind of into feeding out IF from the radio, you'll be pleased to know on the back of this radio, you've also got a 10 megs and a 40 megs, I believe, IF tap out the back. One for the main receiver, one for the sub receiver, and you can also take IF on the TX as well. So there is an output for that if you want to play around with your audio. Okay, moving across, we've got our VFO changes here, so we can lock, we can A and B, got our RIT and our XIT as well, so if you want to make any adjustments with regards to the receiving frequencies, not a problem. And then coming up to here, we've got our AF gain, which is here, as you can see, sub. And then we've got our external references on here as well, so sub VFO and a reference settings as well, which can be controlled by this knob. Okay, coming down here, we've got our clarifier. Again, we can switch that on or off, and then just adjust plus and minus. Anyway, that's a quick overview of the front panel. Obviously, we've got the screen. It's lovely and put into a nice slanted angle, and I really like that. I don't know why other companies haven't done that, because it just works. It just really works. So even if the radio's sitting flat and not on its feet, you can still see that screen, and it's at a perfect eye level for you. Okay, at the back of the radio, hopefully Henry will put some pictures up of the back of the radio, but you'll notice there's a couple of sockets for HF. You've got a VHF socket on there. You've got SMA as well. So connectivity-wise, completely covered when it comes to the amount of antennas you want to run. Separate receive antenna, as you'd expect as well on a flagship radio. Okay, I can't wait any longer. I've spoken enough about it, and I think it's time that we actually got it on the air. Let's see if we can get it going on. We'll have a try on 20 meters. It's coming up to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I should have done the video earlier, but let's see if we can make a quick contact and make it one of the first contacts from the store with the G2ML call sign on the lovely Hilberling radio. However, I'm going to need something before I do that. Take a look at this. This is the microphone for this lovely Hilberling radio. Beautiful construction. You won't see this with any other radio, that's for sure. And full metal construction as well on the PTT. Anyway, let's get going. Let's get going. I won't call CQ today. I think I'm going to try and find a station. Oh.
Good evening from the capital city of
Okay. Okay, so we've got a station here. Now, obviously, before I transmit, I just want to check a couple of the functions. So, mic gain, I've got quite a low voice, so I think that we're going to be fine with the mic gain here. Processor, yeah, just a little touch maybe. Is that on? Yep, that's on now. TX power. Let's go up to there, and we'll see where that takes us. So, goes up to 10. I'd like to think that's probably about 150 watts or so. Okay. Let's use noise reduction as well. We'll wait for him to pop back. Golf 2 Mike Lima. Golf 2 Mike Lima. Okay, yes, this Golf number 2 Mike Lima. Germany 2 Mike Lima. QSR. Negative. Golf number 2 Mike Lima. Golf 2 Mike Lima. G2ML. QSR.
Golf 2 Mike Lima. Very glad to meet you. Good evening. 5 and 6, you are taking a report here in Moscow.
Okay, yep, QSL. You're about a 5 and 7, 5 and 8 with QS Baker, and the name is Tony. Tango Oscar November Yankee. Back to you there from Golf 2 Mike Lima.
Yeah, your name is Andy.
Negative. Tony. Tango Oscar November Yankee. Tango Oscar November Yankee. QSR.
Thank you very much. It might work with you. Nice to work with you for the first time, my dear. Nice to work with you for the first time. And what is your personal call sign? Your personal call sign, over?
Okay, the personal call sign is Mike 0, Tango November Yankee. Mexico 0, Tango November Yankee. QSR?
Yeah, QSR, Mike 0, Tango November Yankee. Okay. I like to check if you have contact before I'm off. No, sorry. I hope to have contact with you from your home studio, so there's no problem. Thank you. My best wishes are regarding you there, and see you down below. 750.
Okay, many thanks for returning our call there. Really appreciate it. And I hope you don't mind. We're filming the contacts for a YouTube video as well, as we're just using a Hilberling radio. So we have a Hilberling radio on demo here, my friend. So hopefully you'll be on YouTube and you'll be able to see it. I say 73 and enjoy the rest of the pile-up from Golf 2 Mike Lima.
Yeah, Roger. Thank you, Tony. I apologize for taking the calling when you're talking. No problem. Gentlemen, I am still on the QSO with Mike 2 Golf Lima. Please apologize on this phone, but thank you. Thank you very much, Tony. See you down below. Cheers in there.
Okay, many thanks. 73. Bye-bye.
73.
So nice that we managed to break the pile up there. Just on the wire antenna here as well, if anyone wanted to know. So we're on the end-fed wire. As you could see, running about 160, 170 watts. The microphone was lovely. Had a little play with the filtering, so we did have to put the noise reduction in. There was a little bit of QSB. Filtering did come on. At the moment, as I said, I've not gone through the manual yet, so it's all fairly new to me with regards to changing the filter settings. We will go into more detail as time progresses, and obviously if you want to come into the store and play with the radio yourself, you're more than welcome to. Before we go as well, I'd like to say a big thank you obviously to Alpha 41 November for the contact there. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there because really I want to have a play, and I suppose you do too as well. So you know where to come down to ML&S. It's on demo, we have it here. We've got the full lineup. I've not fired up the linear for obvious reasons, the fact that the engineers are still working upstairs. But yeah, it's a great thing. And you know, even if you've got a radio that you love already, but you are looking for a bit more power, you can run the Hilberling linear with your radio that you already have, and it's a great linear, I'll be honest with you. Having looked at the specs, I've got one other customer that runs one of these with an SDR transceiver, and they absolutely love the linear. So anyway, if you want any more information with regards to this, obviously check out the website hamradio.co.uk and give the guys a call as well if need be. Okay, catch up with you soon. Take care. 73.